I should tell her. I should tell her. Check your WhatsApp and tell her to join. Check your WhatsApp, share the link with her. Right. So on sequencers, as you write your report writing, as you develop your report, you're expected to arrange your words in sequence. Pardon me, arrange your ideas in sequence. And this sequence would come in the various paragraphs. When you look at a particular question and you want to treat a particular part of the chart on your question, you raise that part, talk about it. When you talk about it, if you have more information to bring in, that's where sequencer comes in. Use furthermore, you continue again. More so, you continue and all that. So that's how to bring in sequencers as you treat your report. We also learned about the examples of sequencers. You can have the list of sequencers following or taking examples from first and foremost, additionally, more so, furthermore, subsequently, consequently, comparatively, conversely, contrarily, notwithstanding, nonetheless, conclusively, summarily, in light of the above. These are examples of sequencers that you can use when writing your report. They also apply when you're writing an essay. Now let's look at academic words. These are very important words that you should not just take for granted. Academic words. These are words you must bring in if you want the examiner to see what you have written in a professional or something that is really professional, because academic words would not only help to practically describe the movements on the chart, they also constitute advanced vocabularies. So let's look at these academic words. Examples of academic words are rise, rose, increase, appreciate, highest, high, decline, depreciate, fall, least, lowest, low, fluctuate, fluctuation, instability, skyrocket, apex, zenith, surge, peak, trajectory, remarkable, significant. These are academic words you have to bring in when you are describing charts. They really help you. They don't only constitute advanced vocabulary, they describe how the flow on the chart is. Imagine writing a line graph. So when the line goes this way, this is fluctuation. So you are saying from this period to this period, it recorded a level of fluctuation. If the chart goes this way, that's surge, that's trajectory, right? If it goes and gets to this point, this is the peak. So these are words you must use when you are describing your report. Please don't just have the notes. Keep those words handy. You need them. You need to have those words. Alright, so these are key things you should bring in when you are writing your report. Please don't forget. They will help you to make a very professional and standard report. And do not forget, your report should not go below 150 words. So you are expected to have a minimum of 150 words. Now let's look at the formula for writing a report. The formula has its basis on P1, P2, P3, and P4. So this means your report should have 4 paragraphs. So the first paragraph has 2 major components. The first paragraph has 2 components. These include paraphrase and unit of measurement. You already know what paraphrasing means. The practice of restating the question given to you in ways that you retain the same meaning but using synonyms. Right? Now, there's something you want to know about paraphrasing report questions. When you are paraphrasing report questions, the question would use the general name for charts. General name, which is charts. But when you are paraphrasing, you don't necessarily need to use charts. You should not use the exact name of that particular chart. Do you understand? For instance, the 2 examples I've given you. One is histogram, the other one is line graph. If you look at the question, it didn't mention histogram. It didn't mention line graph. It just used the word charts, right? So the IELTS examiners expect that when you are paraphrasing that question, don't use the charts used on the question. Rather, you should use the main name of that particular chart. Please, do you understand this? Yeah. Then, after paraphrasing, you can have your full stop. After paraphrasing, you can have your full stop. Then after the full stop, you bring in units of measurement. Now, what is this unit of measurement? Now, units of measurement can be kilogram, it can be centimeters, it can be kilometers, it can be numbers from 1 to maybe million, trillion, billion, whatever it is. It can also be currency or money. So this is where you would see things like dollar or pounds or euro. It can be anything. So how it can also be, okay, very important, it can be percentage. Right? Now, how do you spot your unit of measurement? On the question, it will be written there, but it may not be written boldly. It may not be written boldly. If it is a chart, it may be written below the chart or at the top left-hand side of the chart. Top left-hand side. It can be written below or at the top left-hand side of the chart. So you need to be very observant. You need to look intently to locate the unit of measurement. This is clear? Now, after you must have paraphrased the question, you now launch your unit of measurement by writing the given whatever. It can be chart, it can be table, it can be histogram. The given chart or table or histogram is measured in whatever it is. Joshua, do you understand that?
Yeah. That's a paraphrase.
No. We are done with paraphrasing. After paraphrasing your question, you now introduce your unit of measurement. This immediately after the full stop of the paraphrase, you continue with the unit of measurement. The given chart or table is measured in maybe any of these, whatever it is you find on the question. So it can be in kilogram, it's measured in centimeter. It can, so you can also choose to say the unit of measurement herein is so and so. Or the given units are measured in. So you can use any of these templates to introduce your unit of measurement. Any of these templates, you can use it to start your unit of measurement. Remember, your unit of measurement is a continuation of your paragraph 1. So wherever your paraphrasing stops with full stop is where you will continue the unit of measurement from. If there is no space, you go to the next line. Please don't constitute a different paragraph just to write this. Okay.
So can it be like, for example, it can be like, that the histogram presents the data in percentage. You can show that.
So is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Now, after writing the unit of measurement, then last full stop, and that's the end of your paragraph 1. That will be the end of your paragraph 1. Please, any question? Now let's go to paragraph 2. For your paragraph 2, you are treating what we call overview. Now, overview here is just about you giving a general description of the chart. You are giving a general description of what you can see on the chart. So you should begin with the word overall. Your second paragraph should begin with the word overall. So this means you should start your second paragraph using the word overall. So what does that mean? Overall here would try to capture the entire idea. The entire idea on the chart. So let's look at, for instance, this is a chart, right? Now this chart, if I'm to give an overview of this chart, I would simply say overall the given or the histogram indicates that there are 5 different categories of employers, namely all employees, 1,000 plus employees, 250 to 999 employees, 50 to 249 employees, and 10 to 49 employees respectively. However, the essence of the chart explicitly indicates or shows or exhibits or illustrates the major reasons people or organizations made use of social media in the year 2012. Can you see that? And these reasons are captured as follows: to exchange views or opinions or knowledge within the business. Can you see these things there?
Yeah.
To recruit employees, to collaborate with business partners or other organizations, to involve customers in development or innovation of goods or services, to obtain or respond to customer opinions, reviews, or questions, and to develop business image or market products. You can see that, right? Importantly, each of these 5 categories of businesses, as captured in the graph, were represented by various keys, such as slanted line bar, faintly dark shaded bar, vertically, or if you want to call it horizontal, line bar, then gray shaded bar, and dark black shaded bar. Joshua, are you following this overview? Notwithstanding, it is evident that the highest use of social media was to develop business image or market products. Do you know why? all the 5 categories had their highest at that particular stage. Why the lowest use of social media was to involve customers in development or innovation of goods or services. Please, are you following this? So at this point, you are done with your overview. You are done with your overview. I didn't mention anything like with 50% or 60% this, that. I didn't mention any of that.
Can you go into detail? Can you go into detail?
Not in this paragraph. This is overview. So you have to capture the general view of the chart. You are not doing comparison at this point. You are not going into detail at this point. So in your overview, there are 4 major things you should try to provide. 4 major things, and these include the subject and object, the duration or period, the keys, if applicable, and lastly, the highest or lowest or similarity. These are the 4 major things you should try as much as possible to capture when you are treating reports. Do you understand? So here, you basically want to look at what you have on your chart. So what makes the subject or what makes the object? The doers of the action are the subjects.
So if you look at the question, you will notice it says the reasons for the use of social media by businesses. By who? Businesses. So who represents the subjects? Businesses. Now, what about the objects? What are the objects? The employees. Right? But on the other hand, employees are the businesses. Right? So they are not actually the objects. The objects are the actions they carried out. That is why they made use of social media. The reasons for the use of social media constitutes the objects. Please, do you understand? So you need to factor in the subjects. You need to also bring in the objects. After that, talk about when it happened. So in this particular question, it happened in 2012. In some other questions or in some other charts, you may see from this year to that year. It may be a record of something that happened between 2000 to 2020. So the period or duration is between 2000 to 2020. That's what you captured. I don't know if you understand this. That the chart shows how 5 businesses, namely, you mentioned the businesses, how they deployed social media in their businesses according to their capacity. And they made use of social media for various reasons, such as, you now list the reasons, right? However, this was recorded to have taken place between 2000 2000 and, you understand? But for this one, it's only in the year 2012. If it's some other questions that have period of time, then you capture from when to when, right? Then keys. The keys are how they represented each of these guys. If you look at this chart, does it have key?
Yeah.
What are the keys? Look at the keys here. You need to be very careful with reports. Reports don't tell you what to do. They just expect you to be very attentive, be very intentional. Look intently, you will spot what you should write. So there are keys here. You have this dark line, which is for holiday. You have the dotted line for business. You have the short broken line for visit friends or relatives. You have the long broken lines for miscellaneous. And look at where they are here. This is the business, is this thick one. The dotted line is here. The short broken line is the middle, and the last one is the long broken. Yeah. So you check if there are keys. So if there are keys, describe the keys. Then, but not all charts come with keys. So that's why here it says if applicable. So if it is applicable, you describe the keys as given. If it is not, you just simply write there are no identifiable keys. Then the highest or lowest or similarities. So here you can say that the highest for this is holiday. You can see it has the highest trend from here. Other ones are just around this stage. So the highest is business, while the lowest is miscellaneous. Do you understand? Just the same way, this one has its highest to be develop business image or market products. Same thing applies here. The lowest is involve customers in development or innovation of goods or services. You would have to find out what the highest and lowest is or are. Right? So after that, you are done with your overview. Then your paragraph 3 is comparison. This is where your main work begins. this is where you would have so much to write. So you would want to be very intentional. So what are you expected to do? For paragraph 3, you now begin to compare. You can, if you have more than 5 subjects or objects, more than 5 objects, you should not try to talk about them one after another. You won't have the time to finish in 20 minutes. You can pick the 2 prominent or 3 prominent features and describe them in paragraph 3. Then in paragraph 4, you pick the remaining 2 or remaining 3 and just do a very shabby punch take. Just talk about few major things and you are good. So let's take for instance, comparatively, that's how you want to begin your paragraph 3. Comparatively, 250 to 999 employees and 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees. I'm picking these 2 because they have across all the areas, they made the highest marks. So I'm going to pick the 2 of them and talk about the 2 of them. So if I say 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees, started off on the use of their social media to exchange views, opinions, or knowledge within the business with a record of 42 and 31.5% each. However, to recruit employees, 1,000 plus employees experienced a significant rise to about 45%, while 250 to 999 employees experienced a remarkable decline. You see, I'm using academic words now. Decline to about 28 or 27%. Joshua, do you know where I'm treating?
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm treating now?
Comparing.
Yes. Do you know where I'm talking about now? On the chart?
The employees. The employees.
Yes, but under which of the reasons are we treating now? I'm talking about, I've started with exchange views, opinions, or knowledge. So I picked 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees. I'm going to talk about the 2 of them for now in my paragraph 3, if this is to be my question. Do you understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah.
So when I pick 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees, I'm going to pick I'm going to start with the first use of social media, which is exchange views, opinions, or knowledge within the business. Are you there?
Yeah.
So to talk about them, I'm going to just focus on the 2, 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees. I'm going to focus on the 2 of them alone. So for 1,000 plus employees, they started off using the social media for that particular reason, and they recorded about 42%. Do you know how I got 42%? Do you know how I got 42%? How?
Just use initiative.
No, I'm not. Where? I'm not using initiative actually. Good. So from here, it traces down. Look at it. This is 40%. So slightly above it. Do you understand? Then I'll proceed to this guy, and I'll say that for 250 to 999 employees, under the same reason, they recorded about 31.5%. So I'm using the word about because I'm not 100% sure. So about places me safe. It keeps me within. Because if you don't use the word about, it means you are very certain about the figure. So when the examiners are evaluating your report and they measure it and you are wrong, that means you're going to get it wrong. But when you use the word about, if they measure it, it might be slightly low or slightly high, but you are safe because you use the word about. Please, do we understand? So after that, I'll then say, furthermore, to recruit employees, Joshua, you need to learn this. Furthermore, to recruit employees, 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees recorded varying rates, as the former had a significant increase to about 45%, while the latter had a remarkable or a slight decline or fall to about what? To about what? To about 28%. On the other hand, or also to collaborate with business partners or other organizations, the two categories of employees had a decline, a significant decline, as 1,000 plus employees reduced drastically to about 31%, while 250 to 999 employees decreased further to about 25%. You are following now? But to involve customers in development or innovation of goods or services, the lowest for each of these guys were recorded. For each of the two categories of employees, don't use guys, right? For each of the two categories of employees were recorded here, as 1,000 plus employees experienced its lowest, having about what? About 30%. While 250 to 999 employees recorded what? Recorded about, yeah, okay, you can say about 22%. Interestingly, they both had a significant spike or recovery, hitting as high as about 58% and 42% respectively. Do you understand where we are? Then lastly, 1,000 plus employees and 250 to 999 employees recorded its apex or highest or zenith or peak on the use of social media to develop business image or market products, with as high as about 67 and 54% each or respectively. Please, do you understand this? You are done with your paragraph 3. See the way we took it, right? For the two prominent keys, categories. Now for our paragraph 4, we would want to talk about the remaining 3, but we are not going to be as detailed as we were when we were treating paragraph 3. So we're going to just touch few areas and we're good. So for that paragraph 4, you now say, contrarily, or on the other hand, all employees, 50 to 249 employees and 10 to 49 employees, made use of social media for various reasons and recorded varying or different rates, such as to exchange views, opinions, knowledge within the business. All employees started off with about 17%. 50 to 249 employees had 20%, while 10 to 49 employees recorded about 15%. Notwithstanding, they all experienced their lowest record or rates on the use of social media to involve customers in development or innovation of goods or services, with the rates of about 12%, 14%, and 11% respectively. Do you know where I am?
Yeah.
Then lastly, each of the 3 aforementioned categories of employees witnessed their surge and climax on the use of social media to develop business image or market products with records such as 33%, 44.5%, and 30% respectively. You can say you are done with your comparison now. Then you close your report by saying full stop. It can be therefore deduced that employees with the highest number, businesses with the highest number of employees, such as 1,000 plus and 250 to 99 employees, made the highest use of social media. Whereas institutions or organizations or firms with the lowest number of employees use the social media at very minimal rate.
Then you have the way you're saying it, sounding
Simple.
too normal.
How should it sound?
Like the way you're linking the points.
Yeah. But that's how you should try to do it. That's the way you should try to do it. Just, you see, the thing is, on the day of the exam, let me advise you, on the day of the exam, please do not begin with task 1. Task 1 will pin you down. Task 1 you're seeing, that might be sounding so simple the way I'm giving it to you, would get you stuck. You might be spending between 30 to 35 minutes. Remember, your entire writing test, which includes both tasks 1 and 2, will be within that 60 minutes. So it is left to you to now program yourself to finish the 2 within the time frame you're given. So if you begin with this guy, which has an allotted time frame of 20 minutes, and then unfortunately you tend to end up spending 35 minutes, you are eating into the time of your essay. Now remember, this task 1, which is report, can only give you 33.31% of the entire 100% that you get from writing test. That's what reports can never give you. That's when if you do so excellently. Then essay gives you 66.69%. So by the time you spend a lot of time here, this is the highest you'll ever get. And then by the time you have limited time for this guy, you are shooting yourself in the foot. So when you go for your test, treat your task 2 first before you go back to task 1. It gives you higher chances of scoring good mark in your writing test. Don't forget this. Then, your report writing, nobody is going to tell you what to do. The highest guide you will ever get is summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. This is the highest advice we get. Everything we have done now, you will be the one to craft them yourself. And that's what they are expecting. So you should understand that my report writing should have 4 paragraphs. The first one is more of the paraphrase and identifying the unit of measurement. Very simple. Don't spend more than 3 minutes on that one. The second one, overview, is more like an introduction about the chart. So you are talking about what happened in the question. For instance, the chart shows the major objectives or aims for utilizing social media by organizations according to their numeric strength, staff strength. According to, here it says by size of business. So according to their numeric strength. In what year? 2020. Alright? It also indicates that the businesses were grouped into 5 categories. You are given an overview of what is here. And these 5 categories were represented by various keys. You now describe the keys. Then the use of social media by businesses, according to the chart, were for various reasons, such as you now list the reasons. You are good to go. Then you look for the highest reason or use of and look for the lowest. But don't talk about their rates. Don't bring in 50% or anything. Just establish that this was used, the use of social media for this that was the highest. Why the least use of social media was for so and so, you are good. Then when you come to paragraph 3, this is where you begin to show off. This is where you begin to use your academic words. Decline, fluctuation, surge, climax, dramatic, right? Instability. Begin to use all those words. So you describe and describe and describe. Paragraph 3 will be very nice. Then go to paragraph 4. You just touch a little bit of the areas you didn't complete. You touch them here and close your report. That's the issue.
So, Miss, can you like paraphrase this?
Yes. So let me paraphrase the question. So I'm going to write out the question. It says, all right, so this is the original question. So if I'm to paraphrase this, I'll simply say the graph below. So this is right. So that's my paraphrase of the question. So the paraphrase, the question itself says the graph below shows the reasons for the use of social media by businesses by size of business in 2012. My paraphrase says the given histogram illustrates the aims for the utilization of social media by organizations. So I should put organizations there. By organizations according to their capacity in the year 2012. So check if we are able to capture the same information. Then after that, your unit of measurement, you can say that's the end of paragraph 1. That's the end of paragraph 1.
Just to paraphrase in just to paraphrase in conclude.
So this is the end of your paragraph 1 when you do this, right? Then your paragraph 2, you can simply say overall this is what?
999.
50?
50 to 249.
Ten to 49?
Yeah.
You then copy out those reasons. Full stop. And more so, okay. So various keys such as such as you can now say slanted line bar, light black shaded bar, horizontal line bar, gray shaded bar, and dark black shaded bar, respectively. Full stop. Then, importantly, it is evident that the highest use of social media was to, then you write, develop business image or market products. While the least use of social media was to involve the least. And that's all for paragraph 2. That's all for paragraph 2. Then in paragraph 3, you now begin to compare. You now begin to compare. I don't know if you understand. Is there any confusion anywhere? This is just how it should go. So report writing, you would have a lot to write. As far as you can be very intentional. You look intently, carefully, you have something to write. A lot to write. In fact, even though at first it may look difficult because of graphs, because of pie charts, it gives you more information to write about than essay. Essay will just give you a situation. You have to be the one to generate idea from your head, from nowhere. But reports, what you're going to write can be seen on the question. So that's why, because some test takers would want to write so much, that's why we advise that you shouldn't start with it, so you don't eat your time by yourself. Alright? So this is all about the report writing. Alright, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.